What is the worst thing you've overheard while pretending to be asleep? I was 16 and had the flu really bad. My parents thought I was completely knocked out from the medicine. I was lying on the couch in our living room, eyes closed, barely breathing so they'd think I was deep asleep. My mom and dad were in the kitchen making dinner. The smell of spaghetti sauce was making me feel even sicker. They thought they were being quiet, but I could hear every word through our thin walls. We need to tell him before he finds out some other way, my mom whispered, her voice shaky. Tell him what? That his brother isn't actually his brother? My dad replied, sounding frustrated. My stomach dropped harder than when I first got sick. They were talking about my little brother Tyler. We looked exactly alike. Same brown hair, same green eyes, same crooked smile. Everyone always said we could be twins. The DNA test came back today, Mom continued. I could hear her opening and closing cabinet doors nervously. Tyler's not yours, David. We both know what this means. I held my breath, trying not to cough. My parents had been fighting a lot lately. Dad would come home late from work, claiming overtime at the auto shop. Mom would be crying in the laundry room when she thought nobody was looking. So what do we do now? Dad asked. I heard him slam something down on the counter. Do I just pretend I don't know? Tyler's 8 years old. He calls me daddy every single morning. Maybe we should tell him when he's older, when he can understand, Mom said. Her voice was getting higher, the way it did when she was about to cry. Understand what? That his mom cheated on his dad? That I've been raising another man's kid for 8 years? That everything I thought I knew about our family is a lie? I wanted to run to my room, but I couldn't move without them hearing the couch creak. So I just lay there, listening to my family fall apart one whispered word at a time. Tyler doesn't need to know, Mom said. You're the only father he's ever known. Nothing has to change if we don't let it. Everything has to change, Dad shot back. Every time I look at him now, I'll know. Every time he hugs me and calls me daddy, I'll know he's not really mine. Every soccer game, every birthday party, every time someone says he has my eyes. They went quiet for a long time. I could hear Mom crying softly and Dad pacing around the kitchen. The timer for the oven went off, but nobody moved to check the food. What about Alex? She finally asked through her tears. Do we tell him his brother is his half-brother? That's me. They were talking about telling me that Tyler and I weren't full brothers. I don't know, Dad said, his voice exhausted. This whole thing is such a mess. I just want our family to be normal again. I want to go back to not knowing. The next morning, I woke up on the couch and pretended nothing happened. Tyler came running downstairs in his Batman pajamas carrying his stuffed dinosaur and jumped on Dad like always. Morning, Daddy. Can we make pancakes with chocolate chips today? I watched Dad's face carefully. He tried to smile, but it looked forced and painful. He picked Tyler up and said, sure, buddy, whatever you want, but I could see it in his eyes. Everything was different now. The easy love was gone, replaced by something complicated and sad. For the next few months, I watched my parents pretend everything was fine. Dad would still ruffle Tyler's hair and help with homework, but he wasn't the same dad anymore. He stopped playing catch in the backyard, stopped doing the funny monster voices when he read bedtime stories, stopped laughing at Tyler's terrible knock-knock jokes. He was there physically, but not really there. Tyler started asking me why Daddy seemed sad all the time, why Daddy didn't want to wrestle anymore, why Daddy looked away when Tyler tried to show him drawings from school. One night, I couldn't take watching my little brother's confused face anymore. I knocked on their bedroom door around midnight. I heard you guys talking that night when I was sick, I said, about Tyler not being Dad's biological son. Mom's face went completely white. Dad just stared at the floor like he wanted to disappear into it. How long have you known? Mom asked, her voice barely above a whisper. 3 months, and I've been watching this family fall apart ever since. I looked at both of them, these people who raised me, who taught me right from wrong. Tyler doesn't care about DNA, I said. He cares about who shows up to his soccer games, who helps with math homework, who checks for monsters under his bed, who makes him feel safe. Dad finally looked up at me, his eyes red and tired. You're still his dad, I said firmly. That doesn't change because of some stupid test. Biology doesn't make you a father. Being there every day does. That weekend, something shifted. Dad took Tyler to the park and taught him how to ride his bike without training wheels. They spent the whole afternoon in our driveway, Dad running behind the bike, Tyler laughing and screaming with excitement. When Tyler finally rode all the way to the end of the street by himself, he jumped off and ran straight to Dad. Did you see that, Daddy? I did it! I'm like a real bike rider now! Dad picked him up and spun him around, both of them laughing. For the first time in months, Dad's smile looked genuine and full of pride. Later that night, Dad came to my room while I was doing homework. Thanks for reminding me what being a father actually means, he said quietly. Tyler's lucky to have you, I told him. We both are. I'm the lucky one, Dad said. I get to be dad to 2 amazing boys. My parents never did tell Tyler the truth, and honestly, it doesn't matter anymore. Some families are built by blood, others are built by choice and daily love. Ours ended up being built by both, and we're stronger for it.